Welcome to Sleepy Theories. In this video, we'll explore 100 theories about time. Right now, there's only one thing you need to do. Slow down, put on your headphones, dim the lights. There's nowhere you need to rush to. This video is here to help you slow down. Theory 1. Chronos and the deification of time. In ancient Greece, time was not only something measured, but something lived and feared. For this reason, time was imagined as a god named Chronos. Chronos is time that gives birth to everything and destroys everything. He is not merely the movement of clocks, but the symbol of birth, aging, and the inevitable end. Here, time is not neutral. It is a consuming, devouring force that leaves nothing behind. Chronos devouring his children represents time taking everything back. No matter what is created, no matter what is lived, all of it eventually disappears into time. No moment can be preserved. In this understanding, time holds dominion over humans. Humans do not possess time. Time possesses humans. According to this theory, time is not an abstract measure, but a divine force that governs existence. And humans move forward by aging within this force. Theory 2. The motif of the time-devouring god. In this theory, time is not a flowing line, but a being that absorbs everything. God does not control time. God becomes time itself. In many ancient narratives, the divine figure is a power that takes back what it creates. What is given at birth is reclaimed by time. For this reason, God is not only a creator, but a devourer. The motif of the time-devouring god states that nothing is permanent. Memories fade, bodies dissolve, civilizations collapse. Time absorbs everything, without distinction. In this narrative, destruction is not a punishment. It is the nature of time. God devours not out of anger, but because he is time. According to this theory, time is not a mechanism operating outside of us, but a sacred force that continuously gathers existence back, and everything, sooner or later, return it to it. Theory 3. The Golden Age and the corruption of time. According to this theory, time did not always flow, as it does today. At the beginning of humanity, in a period called the Golden Age, time was slower, softer, and almost imperceptible. In Golden Age narratives, there is no aging. There is no need for haste. Days and years do not weigh on humans. Time is not a force that fractures life, but a flow in harmony with it. The corruption of time begins when humans separate from nature. Ambition, competition, and possession accelerate time. Moments are divided. The future creates anxiety. The past becomes a burden. According to this narrative, the painful nature of time is not natural. It emerged later. It is the result of a loss. According to this theory, the flow of time is not a universal law, but an experience shaped by the human mode of existence. And the Golden Age is a memory of a time when time had not yet begun to crush humanity. Theory 4. Cyclical time myths. According to this theory, time is not a line flowing forward. It is a repeating cycle. There is no beginning and no end, only return. In ancient myths, the universe is born, grows, is destroyed, and begins again. Like the seasons, like night and day, everything returns. Time constantly renews itself. In this understanding, destruction is not permanent. Every ending is the preparation for the next beginning. For this reason, time is not frightening, but familiar. Humans are also within this cycle. They are born, live, die, and dissolve back into the cycle. Time does not push humans forward, it turns around them. According to this theory, time exists not to reach a destination, but to sustain existence, and every moment is a reflection of a moment that has been lived before. Theory 5. The doctrine of world ages. According to this doctrine, time is not a uniform and continuous flow. It is divided into qualitatively different ages, and each age carries its own spirit and its own pace. In ancient narratives, the world passes through successive ages. The Golden, Silver, Bronze, and Iron Ages are not merely historical periods, but different states of time. In each age, the way humans experience time changes. In the Golden Age, time is light. Humans do not carry fear of the future. In the Iron Age, time becomes heavy. It accelerates, it fragments. In this understanding, time can deteriorate. It does not progress, it decays. As ages change, the pressure of time on humans increases. According to this theory, history is not the story of events, but the story of the transformations time undergoes. And humans, in every age, are forced to live with a different face of the same time. Theory 6. Ragnarok and the end of time. According to this theory, time does not last forever. It has a limit, a moment of exhaustion. Ragnarok is the mythological expression of this limit. In Norse mythology, Ragnarok is not merely a war of gods. It is the dissolution of time itself. Order collapses, cycles break. There is no structure left to carry an after. The sun darkens, seasons lose their order. Past and future lose their meaning. Time releases everything it once contained. But Ragnarok is not absolute annihilation. After destruction, a reborn world appears. This is time ending and beginning again. According to this theory, time is neither fully cyclical nor an endless line. It is a structure that can end and be rebuilt. Theory 7. Kali Yuga and the collapse of time. According to this theory, time does not only flow, it wears down. In Hindu cosmology, Kali Yuga is the heaviest and most corrupted state of time. In Kali Yuga, everything accelerates while meaning diminishes. Humans try to control time, but time consumes them instead. The past is forgotten, the future turns into anxiety. In this age, time is fragmented. Moments are short, lifespans are hurried, and life becomes shallow. Time ceases to carry and turns into a force of pressure. Kali Yuga is not the worsening of time, but the collapse of the relationship with time. Humans can no longer hear time's rhythm. According to this theory, the collapse of time is not a crisis of the universe, but of consciousness. And this age is the loudest, yet emptiest form of time. Theory 8. The eternal cycle in ancient Egypt. According to this theory, time is not a line that begins and ends. It is a sacred cycle that continuously repeats itself. In ancient Egypt, this cycle is directly connected to the order of the universe. For the Egyptians, the sun rising each morning is the reconstruction of time. Night is not annihilation, but a temporary interruption. With daylight, order returns. In this understanding, time has two layers. One is the daily cycle, the other is eternal repetition. Pharaohs are accepted as the earthly representatives of this endless cycle. Even death is not an exit from time. The soul moves to another link in the cycle. Life continues in different forms. According to this theory, time is not a force that advances, but a protective order, and the universe maintains the same rhythm forever. Theory 9. Time as a river. According to this theory, time is not something that stands still or returns. It is a river that flows continuously. Humans are not those standing within this river, but beings carried along with it. In ancient thought, the river metaphor expresses the unstoppable nature of time. One cannot step into the same river twice, because neither the water nor the person entering it is the same. Each moment irreversibly leaves the previous one behind. In this depiction, the past is the part of the river left behind. The future is the flow not yet reached. What we call the present is a brief point we try to hold on to in the middle of the current. Here, time is not an enemy, but it does not wait. It does not slow down for anyone. It does not speed up for anyone. It simply flows. According to this theory, controlling time is impossible. The only thing that can be done is to become aware of the flow, and accept being carried along in harmony with it. Theory 10. Rivers that erase the past. According to this theory, time does not only flow, it also makes us forget. In ancient myths, certain rivers are described as forces that erase the past. Those who drink from them leave their experiences behind. Rivers of forgetting symbolize the selective nature of time. Not every moment remains in memory. As time advances, memories wear down and lose their sharpness. Some are erased entirely. In this narrative, forgetting is not a flaw, it is a necessity. Remembering everything would make it impossible to move forward in time. Forgetting allows the flow to continue. According to this theory, time does not only carry us forward, it also lightens us. It reduces burdens. It softens the past. The rivers of time do not flow to keep us where we are, but to allow us to leave where we once were. Theory 11. The thread of fate and time. According to this theory, time is not a random process that simply flows forward. It moves together with a finely woven thread of fate. In ancient myths, life is often depicted as a continuous thread. This thread begins with birth. Each moment is added onto the previous one. Time allows the thread to move forward. Fate, however, determines its direction. When the thread breaks, it means death. But the moment of breaking is not caused by time. Time merely witnesses the thread's progression. Fate decides how long it will last. In this understanding, humans are not beings thrown helplessly into time, but parts of a life that is actively being woven. Every choice ties a new knot into the thread. According to this theory, time is the ground that carries life, while fate is the form that life takes, and the human being is quietly woven between these two forces. Theory 12. The Moirai and the weaving of time. According to this theory, time is not a power that flows on its own, but a fabric shaped through touch. In ancient Greece, the Moirai are the three goddesses of fate who weave the thread of life. One spins the thread, one measures it, one cuts it. These three actions are the exact counterparts of time in human life: beginning, duration, and end. Here, time is not a neutral background. Each touch defines the rhythm of a life. How tense the thread becomes, how long it stretches, depends on these gestures. The Moirai do not control time, they fill it with structure. There is flow, but this flow is not random. According to this theory, time is not something merely measured, but something woven, and a human life is an irreversible part of this fabric. Theory 13. Time gates in myths. According to this theory, time does not function the same way everywhere. Certain moments and certain places fall outside the normal flow of time. In myths, these points are described as time gates. Those who pass through a time gate return to the same world, but not to the same time. They may remain inside for moments while years pass outside, or the opposite may occur. Time flows differently on each side of the gate. These stories suggest that time is not absolute. Its movement depends on location and condition. Time is not distributed equally throughout existence. Time gates often open at moments of transition, between sleep and wakefulness, between life and death, between the world and the sacred realm. These are moments when time loosens its grip. According to this theory, time is not a solid wall, but a flexible structure containing passages. And certain moments are thresholds where this structure becomes visible. Theory 14. Timelessness of the gods. According to this theory, time is an experience belonging to humans. The gods, however, exist not within time but outside of it. For them, there is no before and after. In myths, gods know both the past and the future at once, because they do not observe the sequence of events, but the whole of them. Time, for them, is not a flowing river, but a single, complete landscape. In this understanding, there is no aging, no waiting, no fear of loss, because timelessness removes the pressure of change. Humans hurry because they are bound to time. The gods do not hurry. Their actions are not confined to time's narrow corridor. According to this theory, time is the result of limited consciousness. Where consciousness has no limits, time loses its meaning. Timelessness is not a matter of power, but of perspective. Theory 15. Time freezing in the realm of the dead. According to this theory, with death, time stops. The realm of the dead is a domain where flow is suspended. There is no progression and no return. In myths, the dead neither wait nor hurry, because waiting requires a future. When time freezes, the future disappears as well. Only a state of being remains. In this narrative, the realm of the dead is not motionless, but changeless. Nothing ages, nothing renews itself. Everything remains in its final form. The freezing of time is neither punishment nor reward. It is a consequence. Life operates together with time. When time is withdrawn, life's movement also stops. According to this theory, death is stepping outside of time, and the realm of the dead is a silent threshold where the flow falls quiet. Theory 16. Myths of reversing time. According to this theory, time does not only flow forward. In some narratives, it can be rewound, rewritten, or briefly turned backward. In myths that reverse time, mistakes are not final endings. What is lost can be reclaimed. Destruction can be prevented in another flow. Time is like a flexible fabric. These stories arise from human regret. Moments of if only become real gateways in myth. Time ceases to be merciless and becomes negotiable. But in these myths, returning has a cost. Every correction creates another loss. Playing with time disturbs the balance. According to this theory, rewinding time is not a real possibility, but an expression of humanity's desire to resist time, and this desire takes form in myths. Theory 17. The belief in the eternal now. According to this theory, time does not actually move forward. Past and future are distinctions produced by consciousness. The only thing that truly exists is the present. In the understanding of the eternal now, every moment exists simultaneously. The past is a remembered present, the future is an anticipated present, but neither exists independently outside the now. In this view, time is not a line, but a fixed point. What changes is not time, but consciousness's position within that point. This belief makes haste meaningless. There is no future to escape and no past to catch. Everything exists at the same time. According to this theory, the flow of time is an illusion. What truly happens is the same moment being experienced endlessly in different forms. Theory 18. Mythological prophecy and the future. According to this theory, the future, though not yet lived, is not unknown. In myths, prophecy is the ability to see a future point in time from the present. Prophecies do not describe the process, but the outcome. How events unfold is uncertain, but how they end is already known. For this reason, prophecy does not freeze time. It stretches it. In these narratives, the future is inevitable. Knowing it does not change it. Often knowledge itself accelerates its fulfillment. Prophecy implies that time is a closed structure. The future is not yet experienced, but already written. The present is the act of reading that script. According to this theory, the future is not an empty space, but a waiting result. As time advances, that result inevitably approaches the present. Theory 19. Time described as a circle. According to this theory, time has no true beginning and no definite end. It is a circle closed in upon itself. In the circular view, the first moment meets the last. The end is another face of the beginning. Time does not progress. It completes itself. In this narrative, nothing that happens is ever truly lost. Every event takes its place at a point on the circle of time. And as the circle turns, that point is approached again. For humans, this creates a sense of repetition. History is filled with similar events. Emotions return in the same forms. This is not because time moves forward, but because the circle keeps turning. According to this theory, time is not a line to escape from, but a closed hole one moves within, and every moment is simultaneously inside the circle and a part of what completes it. Theory 20. The motif of the cosmic clock. According to this theory, time is not a random flow. The universe functions like a great clock. Every movement follows a predetermined rhythm. The cosmic clock motif emerges from the order of the sky, the rising of the sun, the phases of the moon, and the movement of the stars. all show that time is measurable and predictable. In this understanding, time does not falter, it does not delay, it does not accelerate. Every part of the universe is a gear in the same vast mechanism. Human beings are inside this clock as well. Life adapts to its rhythm. Birth, growth, and death are different beats of the same cycle. According to this theory, time is not primarily a felt flow, but an operating order, and the cosmic clock continues to work silently, without regard for anyone. Theory 21. Timelessness before creation. According to this theory, time begins together with the universe. Before creation, there is no before, because time does not yet exist. In myths and ancient narratives, the state before creation is not described as emptiness, but as timelessness. In this state, there is no waiting, no duration, and no change. Timelessness is not stillness. It is a condition in which movement is not measured. Things exist, but one cannot ask for how long. In this understanding, creation is the first step into time. The first event gives birth to the first moment. Time begins to flow together with that moment. According to this theory, time is a property of the universe. When there is no universe, there is no time. And creation is not only the beginning of existence, but also the beginning of time itself. Theory 22. The beginning of time in myths. According to this theory, time does not flow eternally. It too has a beginning. In myths, this beginning appears with the first moment when the universe gains order. At the beginning, everything is scattered. Darkness, silence, and formlessness dominate. In this condition, time does not exist, because there is no movement to be measured. When an action occurs, when a sound is heard, or when the first light rises, time begins. That moment is the birth, not only of the universe, but of time itself. For this reason, the moment of creation is sacred in myths, because every first makes the flow of time possible. According to this theory, time is not a byproduct of existence. It is a fundamental dimension that emerges when existence gains order. Theory 23. Beings who guard time. According to this theory, time is not a blind flow left to itself. There are beings who observe it, balance it, and prevent it from breaking. In myths, these beings are often not gods. They are quieter, more withdrawn, guardians. Their task is to ensure that time flows in the right direction, and at the right pace. If time moves too fast, the world collapses. If it slows too much, life freezes. For this reason, time has a balance, and this balance is consciously protected. In some narratives, these beings are like gatekeepers. They allow passage between past, present, and future. Not every being may enter every moment. According to this theory, moments when time seems broken, wars, disasters, or the turning of ages are moments when these guardians have withdrawn. Time appears to flow, but in truth, someone is holding it silently. Theory 24. Myths of the endless night and endless day. According to this theory, time does not function the same way everywhere. In some periods, time does not advance, does not stretch, does not compress. It simply remains in one state. In myths, this condition is often described as an endless night or an endless day. Endless night is not merely a time without sunrise. It represents a state in which light loses its meaning. The sun does not rise, but the true issue is not darkness. Time has stopped. What happens does not move forward. Everything remains suspended. Endless day, on the other hand, appears as a victory of light, but this too is a trap. There is no shadow, no change. Without night, rest, renewal, and forgetting cannot occur. Time does not move because it has no opposite. These myths suggest that time works through contrasts. Night and day, beginning and ending, birth and death. When one becomes endless, time fractures. In some narratives, the gods send these states as punishment. In others, they arise naturally when the balance of the world is broken. According to this theory, for time to flow, it needs light as much as darkness. And sometimes, what stops time is not darkness, but light that never ends. Theory 25. The separation of mythological time from human time. According to this theory, the time described in myths is completely different from the time humans live in. The same word is used, but it does not mean the same thing. Human time is measured. It is divided into days, years, and ages. It has a clear beginning and end. It moves forward. It does not return. Mythological time, however, is not measured. It is not counted. It does not flow. Events gain meaning not by when they happen, but by how they happen. Within a myth, a single moment may equal thousands of years, or a long journey may be completed in a single breath, because mythological time operates not by clocks, but by meaning. For gods, there is no waiting, no haste. An event happens when it must happen, neither early nor late, only in its proper place. When humans look at myths, they ask, how long did this take? But myths do not answer this question, because mythological time is not duration, but condition. According to this theory, time in myths is sacred. It does not belong to everyday life. That is why it can be repeated. Each time the same myth is told, it happens again. It does not remain in the past. Human time ages. Mythological time does not wear out. This distinction says this: myths do not tell history. They tell how humanity looks at time. And sometimes, what seems far from reality is, in fact, time itself. Theory 26. Time created by God. According to this theory, time did not come into existence on its own. It, too, was created. Before God created the universe, there was no time. There was no before and after, no waiting, no change. Everything existed in a timeless state. Time begins together with creation, with the first movement, with the first distinction, with the separation of light from darkness, of the heavens from the earth. In this understanding, time is a part of God's power. It is a measure added so that the universe can function. It is necessary for humans, not for God. God is not inside time. Time is inside God. That is why, for God, past and future exist at the same moment. What is, what was, and what will be, stand together as a single knowledge. Humans, however, live inside this created time. They remember, they forget, they wait, they fear, they hope. According to this theory, time is not absolute. It is not an unchangeable law, but a created mechanism. Just as it began, it can also end. Apocalyptic narratives, the idea that time stops or loses its meaning, emerge from this view. Time is not eternal. It is simply given. This perspective says this: time does not belong to God. It is a boundary given to humans. And perhaps human mortality comes not from death itself, but from living inside time. Theory 27. The absence of time for God. According to this theory, time does not apply to God. Time exists only for created beings. God has no beginning. He does not wait. He does not change. He does not move from one moment to another. Humans live inside time. Even thought itself moves in sequence. First a question, then an answer. For God, there is no such order. In this understanding, God exists in an eternal now. The past is not something already gone. The future is not something distant. All of it is known at the same time. For this reason, God's knowledge is not foreknowledge, because there is no before for God. Everything that exists is clear and open in a single moment. Time is a human perception, a framework used to measure change. God, however, is not subject to change. A being that does not change cannot exist within time. This theory explains this. Because God is timeless, He does not hurry. He is never late. He does not wait. For humans, life is a journey. For God, there is no road, no destination, only existence. According to this view, time limits humans, not God. And perhaps the reason humans can never fully understand God is that they try to understand a being who looks from outside time while standing inside time themselves. Theory 28. The relationship between fate and time. According to this theory, fate is understood through time, but is not dependent on time. Humans live their lives moment by moment. The past falls behind. The future has not yet arrived. Because of this, fate appears to them as a moving line. In this understanding, however, fate is not written from within time. It is seen from above time. For God, events do not occur in sequence. Birth, choices, and death are different points of the same whole. Humans move between these points. God sees the entire map at once. For this reason, fate is not a chain that forces. Human choices are real, but where those choices led is already clear within timeless knowledge. Time is the field where fate is lived. Humans learn their fate by experiencing it. Every decision opens within time. Every result appears within time. This theory says this: fate is not written in the future, nor in the past. It exists as a whole on a plane beyond time. Humans walk inside that whole, step by step, without knowing what will come. Perhaps the feeling of freedom comes from looking from inside time, while knowledge of fate belongs to a view from outside time. That is why fate and time are connected, but they are not the same. Theory 29. Time and Divine Decree. According to this theory, time is the ground on which divine decree unfolds, but the decree itself is not bound to time. Divine decree is the determination of everything by measure: when it will begin, how long it will last, and when it will end. This measure comes from timeless knowledge. Humans see events within time. One thing happens, then another. Cause and effect appear in sequence. Because of this, they perceive divine decree as decisions made later. In this understanding, however, decree is neither earlier nor later. It exists as a whole outside time. Time is simply the gradual unfolding of that whole. When a leaf will fall, when a person will be born or die, these moments are lived in time. But their measure is determined in a timeless order. This theory emphasizes this: divine decree is not random, but it is not mechanical either. Time is not a rigid line, but a fluid stage. Humans move freely on this stage. They make choices, they make mistakes, they learn. Divine decree, however, sets the boundaries and direction of these movements. In this view, time is not a tool of pressure, but a process in which meaning appears. Perhaps divine decree does not govern time. Time makes divine decree visible. Theory 30. The Apocalypse and the End of Time. According to this theory, the apocalypse is not only the end of the world, it is also the end of time. Time began at a certain point. Flow, movement, and change emerged with creation. For this reason, the apocalypse means the stopping of this flow. In apocalyptic narratives, the darkening of the sun, the falling of the stars, and the breaking of mountains are not merely physical events. They symbolize the unraveling of time. In this understanding, there is no longer an after, no waiting, no postponement. What is has happened. For humans, life gains meaning through time. Memory, regret, and hope all depend on time. With the apocalypse, this bond is broken. This theory says that time is not an endless cycle. It too is a finite mechanism. It has a purpose, and when that purpose is fulfilled, time loses its meaning. Post-apocalyptic narratives no longer exist within time. Judgment, response, and existence take place on a timeless plane. In this view, the apocalypse is not a moment of destruction, but a moment of closure. Like a ledger kept for humanity, time is closed. Perhaps the true end is not the silence of the world, but the silence of time itself. Theory 31. The concept of the end times. According to this theory, the end times are not the moment when time is about to end, but the moment when its meaning becomes denser. The end times are not the immediate moment before the end. They are a threshold. Time still flows, but it does not flow in the same way. In this period, time feels as if it has accelerated. Days seem shorter, events grow more frequent, changes follow one another rapidly. Humans struggle to keep up with what is happening. In this understanding, the end times are not a calendar date. They are a moral and existential condition, a period in which good and evil become more visible, and choices produce clearer consequences. Time, here, serves as a warning. Every moment is more valuable. Every decision is heavier. In end-time narratives, uncertainty increases, but this uncertainty is not chaos. As time approaches its end, it makes everything more visible. This theory says this: the end times are the clock's final loud ticking before it stops. For humans, this period is not a time to wait, but a time to awaken. Perhaps the end times are not the last breath of time, but the final moment when humans confront time itself. Theory 32. Divine Plan and the Flow of Time. According to this theory, the divine plan is not written within time, it is lived through time. The plan is not like a line stretching from beginning to end, it is more like a completed whole. Humans pass through this whole. Time makes this passage possible. Events happen in sequence. Cause and effect follow one another. But this sequence is not the plan itself. It is the face of the plan visible to humans. Within the divine plan, everything is meaningful at the same time. An event is not understood on its own, but where it completes the whole. Humans, however, recognize this meaning only as time passes. This theory does not contradict freedom. Humans make real choices. These choices produce results within time, but these results are not outside the plan. Time is like a curtain that opens the divine plan step by step. As the curtain is drawn back, what is happening becomes clear. In this view, time does not rush, it does not return, but it wastes nothing. Perhaps the flow of time is not the progress of the plan, but the plan being slowly recognized by humans. Theory 33. Timelessness in the divine realm. According to this theory, the divine realm is a plane where time does not operate. There is no before and after, no waiting, no delay. Time belongs to what is created. Everything that changes, moves, begins, and ends exists within time. The divine realm, however, lies outside change. In this understanding, divine knowledge is timeless. What is, what will be, and what has been are not known separately. They exist as a single whole. Because humans look from within time, they try to think of the divine in sequence. But in the divine plane, events are not lived, they are known. For this reason, prayer, response, and acceptance are not limited by time. They do not wait for a moment. They do not follow an order. This theory says this: as time approaches the divine realm, it loses its meaning. It ceases to be a measure. Humans are bound to time in this world, but as they turn toward the divine, they begin to sense timelessness. Perhaps the idea that time stops in afterlife narratives comes from here, because the divine realm is a moment that does not flow, and in that moment, nothing is delayed. Theory 34. Time as a test. According to this theory, time is not a neutral flow. It is a test given to humans. Humans are born into time. Its duration is fixed. They do not know how long they will live, but they feel time running out at every moment. In this understanding, every moment is an exam. Delaying, waiting, and giving up are responses given to time. A person is known by how they use time. Time reveals both good and evil. Patience is tested in time. Loyalty is tried in time. Regret is understood in time. According to this theory, the test is not hidden in great events, but in ordinary moments. When a word is spoken, how long a silence lasts gains meaning through time. Time cannot be taken back. Because of this, every choice made is permanent. Humans build themselves within time. In this view, time is not just something that passes, but a process that reveals who a person is. And the test does not happen when time ends, but while time is passing. Theory 35. The concepts of eternity past and eternity future. According to this theory, eternity past and eternity future are not the ends of time. They are states where time does not exist. Eternity past is not before the beginning, because before belongs to the language of time. Eternity past is timeless existence. Eternity future is not an endless future, because the future also exists within time. Eternity future is timeless continuity. In this understanding, God is eternity past, meaning without a beginning. But this does not mean existing a very long time ago. Time does not apply to him. Humans and the universe are not eternity past. They have a beginning, but they are related to the idea of eternity future, because existence has a dimension that extends beyond time. If eternity past and eternity future are thought of as the two ends of a timeline, they are misunderstood because both stand outside time. This theory says this: time is created. Eternity past and eternity future are not created. Humans exist within time, but through these concepts, they begin to think beyond time. Perhaps eternity past and eternity future are a language of existence that transcends time. Theory 36. Time created for humans. According to this theory, time exists for humans, not for the universe itself, but for humans to be able to live. Humans are limited beings. They need time to remember, to learn, to make mistakes, and to correct them. Without time, there would be no experience. Without experience, there would be no meaning. Humans do not know everything at once. Time is the space of this learning. In this understanding, time is mercy. It gives humans the chance to become without haste. They make mistakes, they try, they change. For God, time is not necessary. Knowledge is complete. But for humans, knowledge opens piece by piece. This theory sees time not as a burden, but as an opportunity. Every moment is an unfinished chance. Time limits humans, but also protects them. It prevents everything from being lived all at once. Perhaps time is the quietest teacher given to humans. Theory 37. The belief that prayer changes time. According to this theory, prayer does not disrupt the flow of time, but it transforms what exists within time. When humans pray, they think they are changing the future. But in this view, prayer does not rewrite the future. It causes another path to open within time. From the divine perspective, the result of prayer is not a decision made later. Prayer itself is a cause within the flow of time. Just as one step affects the next, prayer affects the direction of time. This theory sees prayer not as an objection against time, but as a meaningful act placed within time. For humans, prayer feels like waiting, but on the divine plane, prayer is already a known effect. For this reason, to pray is not to force time, but to move together with time. In this view, prayer does not turn back the clock, but it can change what will be lived within those hours. Perhaps prayer is the quietest intervention within time. Theory 38. Sacred days transcending time. According to this theory, some days are not like other days. Even if they fall in the same place on the calendar, the meaning they carry does not fit into time. Sacred days are not only about remembering. In those moments, a connection is re-established with the time when they were first lived. The past is carried into the present. In this understanding, a sacred day is not a repeating date, but an opening gate. What happened on that day does not remain trapped in time. With every repetition, it becomes effective again. On those days, humans feel time differently. It slows down, it deepens. The same moment belongs both to the past and to the present. This theory draws a distinction between sacred time and ordinary time. Ordinary time flows. Sacred time condenses. That is why sacred days are not only commemorated, they are lived. Perhaps the sacred does not stop time, but it gives time a deeper meaning. Theory 39. Past and future in divine destiny. According to this theory, in divine destiny, the past and the future are not separate. This separation belongs to humans. Humans live life within time. Yesterday is behind them. Tomorrow has not yet arrived. For this reason, they also think of destiny in temporal terms. But from the divine perspective, everything that exists is part of a single whole. An event is known not because it has already happened, but because it belongs to that whole. In this understanding, the past does not disappear. The future is not distant. Both stand on the same plane of meaning. Divine destiny is not a timeline. It is not a story written step by step from beginning to end. It is more like a completed structure. Humans move within this structure. They remember some moments. They have not yet reached others. This theory says this: divine destiny does not freeze the past, and does not force the future, it simply knows the whole. Perhaps the past and the future are two faces of the same reality, divided by time. Theory 40. Time is fixed in divine knowledge. According to this theory, time does not flow within divine knowledge. There, it remains fixed. For humans, time is movement. It passes, it changes, it disappears. Because of this, knowledge seems to increase or decrease over time. In divine knowledge, however, there is no such process. Nothing new is learned. Nothing is forgotten. Every moment is known with the same clarity. In this understanding, time does not enter God's knowledge later. With its beginning and its end, it exists there as a single whole. Birth, life, and death are not separate moments. They are different phases of a single order of existence. Humans, because they live time, see the results of their choices afterward. In divine knowledge, results are not separated from the process. This theory expresses this. God does not follow time. Time already exists within divine knowledge. Perhaps time seems to flow for us because our knowledge is limited. Theory 41. The loss of time's meaning with death. According to this theory, death is not only the end of life. It is also the moment when time loses its meaning for the human being. While living, time is everything. One is late, one waits, one longs, one regrets. Life is measured in hours. With death, this measure disappears. There is no tomorrow, no later, no urgency. In this understanding, post-death existence does not belong to time. What happens is not lived sequentially. Change does not occur through waiting. Time loses its function together with the body, because time needs a moving consciousness to operate. This theory says this: time gives life its meaning, but with death, it loses that meaning. Perhaps the fear of death comes from being cut off from time, because humans think through time, and when time ends, the language we are used to falls silent. Theory 42. Time flowing differently in the afterlife. According to this theory, the afterlife does not operate in the same way as time in the world. The duration experienced there cannot be measured by earthly clocks. In the world, humans feel time through the body. They grow tired, they age, they wait. In the afterlife, these bodily measures do not exist. In this understanding, a single moment may feel very long, or a long duration may be lived as a single moment. Time becomes experience, not quantity. In descriptions of the afterlife, 1,000 years being like a single day, or a single day being like 1,000 years, express this difference. This theory does not see the afterlife as timeless, but as a realm with a different kind of time. There is flow, but not like in the world. There, humans do not grow tired of waiting. Delay does not cause pain, because time is no longer a burden. Perhaps in the afterlife, time does not limit the human being. It only accompanies existence. Theory 43. The cycle of time in sacred texts. According to this theory, time is not a straight line. In sacred texts, it is described as a repeating cycle. Creation, corruption, warning, and renewal appear within the same pattern. One era ends, another begins. In this understanding, history does not only move forward. The same lessons are lived again at different times. Humans forget, they are warned, they turn again, then they forget once more. In sacred texts, the rise and collapse of societies are not accidental. Time carries a moral cycle. This theory suggests that time has a teaching structure. Repetition is not pointless. Each cycle does not end in the same place. For humans, this cycle is a warning. The past does not merely stay behind, it shapes the future. Perhaps time tells the same truth to humanity again and again, at different moments. Theory 44. Divine patience and time. According to this theory, divine patience is not the slowness of time. It is not being limited by time. Humans are impatient because their time is short. They have moments to lose. That is why waiting feels difficult. From the divine perspective, there is no waiting, no delay. Everything happens at the moment it should. In this understanding, divine patience is not postponement. It is responding to everything in its proper place. Humans think justice is delayed, but this delay is an illusion belonging to time. In the divine realm, nothing is delayed. This theory says this: divine patience is not measured by the length of time. It stands above time. Humans learn patience within time. The divine does not learn patience. It is patient. Perhaps human patience is tested by time. Divine patience is not tested by time at all. Theory 45. Time as a means of approaching God. According to this theory, time is not something that distances humans from God, but an opportunity that brings them closer. Humans do not mature instantly. They do not realize instantly. Understanding takes time. Depth requires process. Time makes this process possible. Humans change as they live. They learn as they make mistakes. They soften as they break. In this understanding, no moment is wasted. Pain and joy are both guiding forces. Time needs the soul. Approaching God is not a matter of distance. It is a matter of transformation. And this transformation happens within time. This theory views worship, contemplation, patience, and gratitude as a journey spread across time. Humans think they are spending time, but time is actually building them. Perhaps time is not the path to God, but it is what makes humans capable of walking that path. Theory 46. The days of creation and time. According to this theory, the days mentioned in creation are not earthly time. They are not 24-hour periods measured by a calendar. The days of creation described in sacred texts represent stages, the step-by-step establishment of an order. In this understanding, one day represents a process, a phase of divine arrangement with a beginning and a completion. For God, there is no limitation of time. Creation does not occur in haste, but with measure. This measure is expressed in a language humans can understand. Humans perceive the concept of a day as time, but here, time is an instructive narrative tool. This theory views creation accounts not as statements that conflict with science, but as symbols that carry meaning. The days of creation do not count time. They describe order. Perhaps the true emphasis is not on how long it took, but on how and by what measure it came to be. Theory 47. The concept of divine waiting. According to this theory, divine waiting is not watching time pass. Because in the divine realm, time does not pass. Humans wait because they have not yet experienced the outcome. Uncertainty forces them to wait. In divine waiting, there is no uncertainty. The outcome is known, but the timing of that outcome is left to the human being. In this understanding, God's waiting is not passivity. It is giving space to the human. It is not intervening. Time flows for humans, so they can decide, make mistakes, and mature. Divine waiting is respect for this process. This theory distinguishes divine waiting from patience. Patience is enduring time. Divine waiting is standing above time. Perhaps what is being waited for is not events to happen, but the human being to become. Theory 48. Time being bent by sacredness. According to this theory, time does not function the same way everywhere. When it comes into contact with sacredness, it bends. Some moments are different from ordinary time. They are short but leave deep traces. They feel long but are small on the calendar. In sacred places, in sacred moments, humans stop measuring time. Clocks lose their importance. Experience comes to the forefront. In this understanding, sacredness does not stop time, but it changes its weight. Time becomes denser. A moment of prayer, a realization, an inner transformation is not temporal, but it is lived within time. This theory says this: time is not an absolute flow. It is shaped by meaning. Sacredness is not against time. It allows time to be lived more deeply. Perhaps time reveals its true weight only when it touches sacredness. Theory 49. The distinction between eternity and time. According to this theory, eternity is not extended time. nor is it something that begins where time ends. Eternity is not the opposite of time. It is a state outside of time. Humans imagine eternity as an endless future, but this is a temporal illusion, because even the future belongs to time. In this understanding, time is measurement. Eternity is Time is divided into parts, moments, days, years. Eternity cannot be divided. God is eternal. This does not mean existing for a very long time. It means not being subject to time. This theory explains this. Time is for what is finite. Eternity is for what is not finite. Humans live within time, but through the idea of eternity, they try to sense what lies beyond time. Perhaps eternity is not the continuation of time, but a mode of existence where time falls silent. Theory 50. Time as a divine mystery. According to this theory, time is not only a measurable flow, it is also a divine mystery. Humans observe, they count hours. They remember the past, they plan the future. But the deeper meaning of time remains unseen. Within the divine mystery, time does not flow uniformly. Past, present, and future are parts of a whole. All are known at once, but perceived separately. In this understanding, humans experience the speed and length of time in a limited way. God, however, sees the entirety of time. Time tests humans, teaches them, and matures them. But in the divine mystery, time is only a tool. This theory says this: measuring time is the human perspective. The essence of time is hidden within divine knowledge. Perhaps the anxiety, haste, and fear we place upon time come from not being aware of this mystery. Theory 51. Constant flow in Heraclitus. According to this theory, for everything flows. Nothing stands still. Nothing remains permanent. Time is part of this flow. The past no longer exists. The future has not yet arrived. Only the present exists and flows. Heraclitus' famous saying, "No one ever steps into the same river twice," describes the nature of time. Every experience is unique. No moment is ever repeated. In this understanding, time is not a line. It is a constantly changing flow. Humans move within this flow, but cannot stop it. The flow of time also carries justice. Mistakes change. Truths emerge. The value of things is understood only through the flow. This theory says that time is not fixed, but a process, constantly being experienced. Perhaps the flow of time emphasized by her is as unavoidable as life itself. Theory 52. Time as an illusion in part. According to this theory, time is not real. It is an illusion that exists only in human perception. For him, reality is unchanging and eternal. It has no beginning, no end. Nothing flows. Humans see the past and the future within time, but according to this is only an illusion. Every moment is always the same. In this understanding, time is not the measure of movement. If there is no change, there is no time. The perceived flow conceals reality. From Parmenides' perspective, birth and death are only appearances. In truth, being is whole and fixed. This theory says the felt flow of time is not real. It is merely the play of humanly limited perception. Perhaps Parmenides' teaching offers the first clue for those who seek to understand beyond time, to see what does not change. Theory 53. Time as a shadow in Plato. According to this theory, for Plato, time is not reality itself. It is only the shadow of what is real. In Plato's world of forms, everything is perfect and unchanging. Time is the reflection of these perfect forms. It flows and changes, but only in appearance. Humans experience the past and the future within time, but these experiences do not reveal the true reality of the world of forms. Time is a measure, a means of reflection. the movements of the sun, the moon, and the stars allow us to experience time, but this does not represent reality itself, only our way of perceiving it. In this understanding, birth and death do not create real change either. They are seen only within the human world, through time. This theory says that time is not true being, but a shadowy reflection. Perhaps Plato's view helps us understand that time is limited and flows only for human consciousness. Theory 54. Time and motion in Aristotle. According to this theory, for Aristotle, time is connected to motion. Measuring time depends on noticing change. If nothing moves, time cannot be measured. There is no past, no future, only stillness. In this understanding, time emerges through the change of things. The growth of a tree, the passing of a day, and the flow of life give time its meaning. According to Aristotle, time is not an independent entity. It is the measure of motion, the sign of order. Humans grasp their moments through this measure, but time cannot be thought of separately from motion. This theory says, time does not simply flow. It exists through movement and change. Perhaps Aristotle's view allows us to see time not as an abstract idea, but as a lived process. Theory 55. Cyclical time in Stoicism. According to this theory, for the Stoics, time is not a straight line. It flows in continuous cycles. The universe is created, develops, collapses, and is created again. Each cycle does not repeat the previous one exactly, but is connected to it. In this understanding, humans live within this cycle. They relate their fate in life to the universal order. Birth and death are merely parts of a larger phase. The Stoics align themselves with the flow of time and nature. The human task is to accept the flow and live in accordance with it. Time is neither punishment nor reward. It is a process. Within it are lessons, trials, and transformations. This theory says, the cyclical nature of time offers humans a chance for meaning and harmony. Perhaps the Stoic perspective teaches not to control time, but to join its rhythm. Theory 56. The relationship between time and mind in Augustine. According to this theory for Augustine, time is not an objective entity. It is lived within the human mind. The past exists only as what is remembered. The future exists only as what is expected. The present is formed within the awareness of the mind. Humans want to measure time. They create clocks, calendars, moments, but real time is an inner experience. Without the mind, time has no existence. For God, time does not flow. God is eternal and everlasting. Past, present, and future exist as a single point within divine knowledge. In this understanding, time is connected to human limitation. The movement of the mind produces time. The level of awareness determines the length and depth of time. This theory says, time is not an external reality, but an inner experience. Perhaps the flow of time is shaped by perception, and true time is not independent of consciousness. Theory 57. The distinction between past, present, and future. According to this theory, past, present, and future are concepts separated within human consciousness. In reality, time is a whole. The past is what we remember. The future is what we anticipate. The present is the only moment we directly experience. In this understanding, humans live by dividing time. But the universe exists as a fluid whole. This division of time is necessary for learning and planning. Humans learn from mistakes and design the future. Yet from a divine perspective, past and future exist on the same plane. Only human perception sees them as separate. This theory says, the fragmentation of time is an illusion, but a functional one for human life. Perhaps real time is always now, and past and future are only reflections of the mind. Theory 58. The construction of time and consciousness. According to this theory, time is not an objective reality, but a construction of consciousness. Humans remember the past, anticipate the future, and focus on the present. Through this process, the sense of time emerges. Without mental perception, past and future lose their meaning. A moment would exist only as itself, without connection or context. In this understanding, time is not something measured, but something lived. Each individual creates their own time. The brain orders experiences, connects memories, and builds future scenarios. The feeling of time arises from this process. This theory says, time is not a river flowing outside us. It is a mechanism constructed within consciousness. Perhaps the urgency, anxiety, and expectation we attach to time are side effects of this construction. Theory 59. The concept of duration in bear. According to this theory, for Bearsong, time is not the hours measured by numbers. It is an inner experience, called duration. Humans can count minutes and years, but they cannot measure the intensity of a lived moment. Duration is understood only by living it. According to Bergsong, time is not external, but internal. Memories, emotions, and the flow of consciousness give time its true meaning. The past is not a forgotten moment. It remains alive within the present. The future is not merely an awaited event. It is a potential that shapes the present. In this understanding, clocks are only references. Real time flows within the human soul. This theory says, time is not measured, it is lived. Perhaps Bergson's view teaches us to experience life more attentively and more deeply. Theory 60. Time is a priori in Kant. According to this theory, for Kant, time exists prior to experience. Before the mind perceives the world, it already prepares the framework of time. Past and future are embedded in the structure of the mind. The present is experienced within this structure. According to Kant, time is not found in things themselves, but is an organizing principle formed within human consciousness. Without it, no experience can gain meaning. In this understanding, time is not a measurable flow, but a fundamental form of thought. The world, events, and change are ordered and understood through time. This theory says, time is not something that exists outside. It is a framework imposed in advance by consciousness. Perhaps Kant's perspective reminds us that all our experiences of time are shaped by the structure of the mind itself. Theory 61. Time as representation. According to this theory, for Schopenhauer, time is not reality itself, but a representation formed in the human mind. Humans perceive the world and establish cause and effect. They remember the past and anticipate the future. Time emerges through this process. In truth, time is not an independent entity. It exists only as a requirement for consciousness to perceive order. According to Schopenhauer, the will is constant and unchanging. Time is the way this unchanging will is perceived. In this understanding, death and birth belong to representation, but for the essence of the will, the flow of time is not real. This theory says, time is not an external reality, but a tool of human consciousness. Perhaps Schopenhauer's view allows us to see time as an organizer of life, but not reality itself. Theory 62. The eternal return in Nietzsche. According to this theory, for Nietzsche, time is not linear, but an endless cycle. The universe and life appear again and again. Every event, every choice is lived again, infinitely. When a person looks at this cycle, they measure the value of life. Every moment gains weight if it must be lived again forever. According to Nietzsche, the eternal return is both frightening and liberating. Every choice we make carries its own full weight. In this understanding, time is not a teacher, but it makes humans responsible. Past, present, and future are united within the same cycle. This theory says, time is not a one-way flow. It is an endless process in which life constantly repeats itself. Perhaps Nietzsche's perspective offers a different way to make every moment important and meaningful. Theory 63. Temporality in Heidegger. According to this theory, for Heidegger, time is not merely the measure of clocks or calendars. It is a dimension of human existence, called temporality. Humans are thrown into the world. They are born, they live, they die. Time, within this process, allows humans to create meaning. According to Heidegger, the past carries one's choices and experiences. The future presents one's possibilities and potential. The present is the moment in which existence is lived between these two. In this understanding, time is not an objective measure, but a way for humans to interpret their own being. Each individual, as a temporal being, lives while knowing their own mortality. This theory says, time is an experience that shapes human life and gives meaning to existence. Perhaps Heidegger's view helps us see time not as an external measure, but as an inner reality connected to the essence of the life we live. Theory 64. The present moment in existentialism. According to this theory, in existentialism, time is not a line divided into past and future. True existence is lived in the present moment. Humans carry the weight of the past and face the uncertainty of the future. But the meaning of life emerges only in the now. In this understanding, the past is memory, the future is expectation, but real experience is always now. Existentialists emphasize human freedom. Every decision, every choice is made in the present moment. Not the external flow of time, but the conscious use of the present is what matters. This theory says, time is not the measure of life, but the framework in which existence itself is experienced. Perhaps the existentialist view teaches us to focus on now, instead of living in regret about the past or anxiety about the future. Theory 65. The non-objectivity of time. According to this theory, time is not an objective flow in the universe. Although it seems like something that can be measured, in truth it is shaped within human consciousness. Humans remember the past, plan the future, and focus on the present. Through this process, time is experienced and gains meaning. But in the outer world, clocks move and stars travel, yet these are not time itself. They are only signs of time. In this understanding, time is related to perception and consciousness. Each individual experiences time differently. Its intensity, length, and importance change. This theory says, time is not an objective entity, but an organization and an experience produced by consciousness. Perhaps everything we see as the flow of time is actually nothing more than a perception constructed by the mind. Theory 66. Time as a human product. According to this theory, time is not a reality independent of the universe, but a concept produced by humans. Humans count days, follow seasons, and plan their lives. Clocks, calendars, and chronometers give form to time. But these measurements are not time itself. They are humanity's attempt to make sense of the flow that is experienced. In this understanding, time is the organizer of life. Birth and death, beginning and end become boundaries drawn only from the human perspective. This theory says, time is not an external flow, but a structure created by human consciousness and society. Perhaps every moment we think we control time, we are actually only trying to perceive it and give it order. Theory 67. The relationship between identity and time. According to this theory, a person's identity is shaped over time. Past experiences, forgotten memories, and lived events form the basic stones of the self. Identity is not only the present moment, it is united with the past and gives direction to the future. Without time, a person cannot know themselves or make sense of their life. In this understanding, time is not merely a measure, but a building block of existence. A person's choices, what they remember, and what they expect all build identity, together with time. This theory says, identity and time cannot be thought of separately. Without one, the other remains incomplete. Perhaps to understand ourselves, remembering the past, facing the present, and seeing future possibilities all depend on time. Theory 68. Memory and time. According to this theory, the experience of time is closely tied to memory. Remembering the past is the main way we understand time. Humans bring memories together and arrange lived events. This ordering makes the past exist and prepares the ground for the future. Without memory, there is no past. time would consist only of the present moment. Memories create the depth and meaning of time. In this understanding, time is not felt as an objective flow, but as a product of memory. Every act of remembering rebuilds time. This theory says, time exists in the human mind. Without memory, time is only an empty concept. Perhaps we truly understand the value of every moment we live thanks to our memory. Theory 69. Time as a creator of meaning. According to this theory, time is not just a measure. It gives meaning to experienced events. Humans remember the past and plan the future. In the present, they give meaning to the moment they live. Without time, events would seem random and empty. Time is the organizer of life. Birth, death, success, and loss gain a sense of wholeness when they are placed within time. In this understanding, what matters is not time itself, but experience within time. Every moment builds a bridge to the future with the accumulation of the past. This theory says, time is a tool of human consciousness that makes life meaningful. Perhaps the value of time appears not only in measuring it, but in the meaning it gives to lived moments. Theory 70. Time defined by death. According to this theory, time is an experience whose limits are drawn by death. It begins with birth and ends with death. This flow forms the frame of life. Humans remember their past and imagine their future, but death sharpens all perception of time. Every moment reminds us that it is finite. In this understanding, time is not just a measure. It determines the meaning and value of life. Past, present, and future gain meaning together with death. Time organizes life and orders experiences, but death draws the boundary of this order. This theory says, time is experienced throughout life, but with death it is truly understood. Perhaps the awareness of death shows a person the value and weight of time in the clearest way. Theory 71. The critique of linear time. According to this theory, the idea that time is a one-way straight line is actually misleading. Past, present, and future are separated only in human perception. Humans see time as a straight flow, make plans, lean on the past, and place hope in the future. But in the universe, there is not a single straight line of time. According to some philosophical views, time is a cyclical, flexible, and consciousness-shaped experience. Memories and expectations create our sense of time. Clocks outside do not show real time, but the order we perceive. In this understanding, linear time offers humans an illusion of security. But reality is more complex and more flexible. This theory says this: time is not a straight line, but a flow built within consciousness. Perhaps the idea of linear time gives people a sense of order, while hiding the true nature of time. Theory 72. Time constructed by language. According to this theory, time exists not only through clocks and calendars, but also through language. Humans tell the past, plan the future, and express their thoughts about the present. All these expressions make time understandable and shareable. The tenses used in language structure past, present, and future in the mind. Stories, narratives, and history shape time within consciousness. In this understanding, time is less an objective flow and more a social tool that creates meaning. Thoughts and words give form to time. This theory says this: time is not only measured, it is built and lived through language. Perhaps humans owe their ability to understand and share time to language. Theory 73. The absoluteness of the moment. According to this theory, real time is not the past or the future, but only the now. The moment is complete and whole by itself. Humans remember the past, design the future, but the real experience they live is always in the present moment. The past is a projection of what we remember. The future is a reflection of our expectations. The present is the only concrete and experienceable time of life. In this understanding, the flow of time is felt only in consciousness. Awareness of the moment is the true measure of existence. This theory says this: the essence of time is not past and future, but the present moment itself. Perhaps living life fully is possible by discovering the meaning we give to time by focusing on the present. Theory 74. The ontological status of time. According to this theory, whether time exists as pure reality or as a product of human perception is debated. According to some philosophical views, time is not an independent entity in the universe. It is a framework built by consciousness to make sense of change and movement. According to other views, time is an objective reality, connected to the fundamental structure of the universe. But human perception cannot fully grasp this objectivity. In this understanding, the ontological status of time is both real and perceptual. Past and future gain meaning in consciousness, while universal processes continue in their own flow. This theory says this: the nature of time, whether objective or mental, is still not known with certainty. Perhaps the mystery of time pushes humans to try to understand both the universe and their own consciousness. Theory 75. Philosophical timelessness. According to this theory, timelessness is the state of existing beyond time. Past, present, and future lose their meaning in this understanding. According to some philosophical views, God, absolute reality, or universal laws are independent of time. For them, time is not a flow, but only a concept. Human consciousness, however, is bound to time. But through thought and intuition, timelessness can be grasped. This allows one to go beyond the limited perspective of existence. In this understanding, death, birth, and change lose their importance within timelessness. Only being and essence remain. This theory says this: time may be a structure we experience, but in philosophical perspective, reality is timeless. Perhaps the idea of timelessness offers humans a way to look beyond the limited experience of existence. Theory 76. Time as a physical dimension. According to this theory, time is not only an abstract concept, but one of the fundamental dimensions of the physical universe. Like space, it is a structure that can be measured and interacted with. According to modern physics, time is part of the fabric of space-time. Objects move, energy is transferred, and time is felt as a measure of these changes. In this understanding, past, present, and future are not only related to human perception, but also to universal events. Time is intertwined with motion and change themselves. This theory says this: time is not a product of consciousness. It is a physical dimension of the fundamental fabric of the universe. Perhaps the true nature of time is independent of human perception and offers a measurable guide for understanding the order of the universe. Theory 77. The concept of space-time. According to this theory, time should not be thought of as a dimension separate from space, but as a part of space. Einstein's theory of relativity is based on this idea. Space and time together form the fabric of space-time. As objects move, the curvature and flow of this fabric change. Time is felt through this motion and interaction. In this understanding, past, present, and future are not absolute, but depend on the observer's position. An event can be past for one observer and present for another. This theory says this: time is not an independent flow. It is part of the fundamental fabric of the universe, together with space. Perhaps the concept of space-time allows us to see our sense of time as more flexible and relative. Theory 78. The slowing of time and relativity. According to this theory, time does not have a fixed and universal flow. According to Einstein's theory of relativity, for a moving observer, time passes more slowly than for a stationary observer. As speed increases, the flow of time slows down. When an astronaut travels at a speed close to light, the years that pass on Earth feel much shorter for the astronaut. In this understanding, past, present, and future are not absolute, but depend on the motion of the observer. Time is not universal, but a relative experience. This theory says this: time is measurable, but not fixed. It changes with the conditions of speed and gravity in the universe. Perhaps relativity shows that time is more flexible and fluid beyond human perception. Theory 79. Time stopping at the speed of light. According to this theory, according to Einstein's theory of relativity, time slows down for a being approaching the speed of light, and at exactly the speed of light, it completely stops. A photon, as it moves through space, does not experience the flow of time. Past, present, and future merge in this perspective. The experience of time disappears. In this understanding, time is not an absolute flow. Motion and speed determine how time is experienced. At the speed of light, the ordinary flow of the universe turns into a timeless stillness. This theory says this: time depends on the speed of the observer. At maximum speed, time stops, and the experience of time completely vanishes. Perhaps this situation shows most clearly that time is not an absolute entity, but a dimension dependent on the motion of the universe. Theory 80. The arrow of time. According to this theory, time has a one-way flow. It moves from the past toward the future. This is called the arrow of time. The cause and effect relationships we observe in nature support this direction. When a glass falls and breaks, the pieces do not come back together. The flow of life cannot be reversed. From a thermodynamic point of view, entropy defines the arrow of time. Disorder increases, systems become more scattered. This process is a sign of time's one-way flow. In this understanding, the past has already happened. The future has not yet arrived. The present is the point where this flow is felt. This theory says this: the direction of time is a fundamental feature that carries cause and effect into human consciousness. Perhaps the arrow of time reminds us of the finite and irreversible nature of life. Theory 81. Entropy and time. According to this theory, the flow of time is closely linked to the increase of entropy in the universe. Entropy is a measure of disorder. In natural processes, it constantly increases. When a glass falls and breaks, the pieces do not come back together on their own. Energy and matter move toward a more disordered state. This process is a sign of the one-way nature of time. From a thermodynamic point of view, time is the flow of the universe toward disorder. The past is more ordered. The future is more disordered. The present is the moment when this flow is noticed. In this understanding, time is not only an experience felt in consciousness, but a process observed in the physical universe. This theory says this: the direction and the feeling of time are determined by the increase of entropy in the universe. Perhaps entropy shows us the irreversible nature of life and the universe through time. Theory 82. One-way flow from past to future. According to this theory, time flows in a single direction, from the past to the future. Events that have happened cannot be taken back. Life moves forward like a river. The past has already been lived and is fixed. The future has not yet arrived and is uncertain and full of potential. The present is the moment experienced between these two dimensions. In this understanding, cause and effect relationships define the flow of time. We make a choice and its effects appear only forward. There is no return. This theory says this: the one-way nature of time is the basis for understanding cause and effect in life, and our own mortality. Perhaps the past being fixed and the future being uncertain reminds us of the responsibility to value every moment. Theory 83. The thermodynamic origin of time. According to this theory, the one-way flow of time is related to thermodynamic processes in the universe. Especially entropy, the increase of disorder, determines the direction of time. In a system, the distribution of energy always moves toward greater disorder. Ice melts, a glass breaks. These processes are irreversible. This irreversibility reveals the one-way nature of time. From a thermodynamic view, time itself is not a measurable flow, but an experience linked to the increase of entropy. The past is more ordered, the future is more disordered. This theory says this: time is not independent of the physical processes of the universe. It is shaped by the laws of energy and disorder. perhaps understanding the irreversible nature of life and the universe through time becomes possible. With this thermodynamic perspective. Theory 84. Timelessness at the quantum level. According to this theory, the time we experience in the macroscopic world does not apply at the quantum level. For subatomic particles, past, present, and future do not gain meaning as separate entities. Quantum particles exist in superposition. Events are not tied to a fixed sequence. This shows that temporal flow is not absolute. In this understanding, time is an experience that emerges at the macro scale. At the micro scale, there are only probabilities and changes. In the quantum world, events occur independently of time. This theory says this: time is not an absolute flow, but an experience linked to the observer and the scale. Perhaps timelessness at the quantum level shows us that our perception of time is not universal. Theory 85. The block universe theory. According to this theory, all time past, present, and future exists as a whole, in a single block. Time is not a flowing line, but a fixed picture in the universe. Every event, every moment has its place in the block. Human consciousness experiences these moments one by one. Past and future are separated only by consciousness. In this understanding, death and life, beginning and end, are like parts that already exist in the block. The flow of time is an illusion. In reality, everything exists at once. This theory says this: time may not move as we experience it. The universe contains all moments simultaneously. Perhaps the idea of the block universe shows that time is not absolute, and that human perception shapes the sense of temporal flow. Theory 86. The idea that the future already exists. According to this theory, the future, even if not yet experienced, already exists in some form. The block universe or deterministic views support this idea. Even though humans perceive the future as uncertain and full of potential, the positions of events in the universe may already be determined. The flow of time appears linear to consciousness. In reality, past, present, and future exist simultaneously. In this understanding, decisions, choices, and events exist across all dimensions of time. The present moment is in constant connection with the future and the past. This theory says this: even if the future appears uncertain to consciousness, it may already exist in the universe. The nature of time is beyond human perception. Perhaps the idea that the future already exists gives humans a sense of awareness and responsibility toward time. Theory 87. The theoretical possibility of time travel. According to this theory, time travel may be possible within the framework of physics, especially when relativity and the fabric of space-time are considered. According to Einstein's theory of relativity, space-time can be curved and bent. These curvatures cause time to flow at different rates. In theory, if a person moves at very high speed or is in strong gravitational fields, they could travel relatively to the past or the future. Quantum mechanics also suggests that probabilistic transitions in time might be possible. However, paradoxes and problems of causality make time travel very complex in practice. This theory says this: time travel may not be completely impossible physically, but it is subject to major limitations because of the order of the universe and causality. Perhaps ideas of time travel are among the most fascinating conceptual tools for understanding the flexible and relative nature of time. Theory 88. Closed time-like curves. According to this theory, within space-time, time can close in on itself. This is called closed time-like curves. The equations of general relativity predict that, under certain special conditions, a particle or an observer could return to their own past. In this case, time stops being a line that flows forward and gains a circular structure. In this understanding, the relationship between cause and effect becomes blurred. An event can be the result of its own cause. This brings time paradoxes into question. Whether this structure, which seems theoretically possible, really exists in the universe, or is only a mathematical possibility, is unknown. The laws of physics do not confirm it for now. This theory says this: under certain conditions, time may have an extraordinary structure that can close in on itself. Perhaps closed time-like curves are one of the most striking ideas, showing that time is far more complex and flexible than we think. Theory 89. The view that time is not fundamental. According to this theory, time is not the most fundamental building block of the universe. It may be a result of deeper and timeless processes. According to some approaches in physics and philosophy, at the foundation of the universe there are relations, events, or changes. Time is a concept that emerges later to order these changes. In this understanding, time is not an independent dimension that exists together with matter and energy. Even though human consciousness and physical processes seem to need time, timelessness may dominate the deep structure of the universe. This theory says this: time is not the foundation of reality. It is a result of how reality is perceived. Perhaps the idea that time is not fundamental requires us to look beyond the framework we are used to in order to understand the universe. Theory 90. Time is an emergent property. According to this theory, time is not a reality that has existed from the beginning. It emerges as a result of more fundamental processes in the universe. At the micro level, there are particles, fields, and interactions. At this level, there is no clear flow of time. But as complexity increases, as systems grow larger, the sense of time emerges. In this understanding, time, like temperature or pressure, does not belong to individual particles, but gains meaning in the whole system. As the universe becomes organized, time becomes something that can be experienced. This theory says this: time is not a fundamental building block of the universe. It is a natural result of complexity and order. Perhaps the reason we feel time is not so much the universe itself, but the fact that we are ordered structures that emerge within it. Theory 91. Planck time. According to this theory, time is not an infinitely divisible flow. It may also have a smallest possible unit. This unit is called Planck time. Planck time is unimaginably short. Any interval shorter than this cannot be meaningfully defined by the known laws of physics. At this scale, space and time lose the form we usually understand. In this view, time is not like a smooth, continuous river, but more like a structure built from the smallest possible moments. Below this limit, even cause and effect relations begin to lose their clarity and become uncertain. At the Planck scale, quantum effects dominate. The fabric of space-time is not smooth and continuous, but rather something like a vibrating, granular, and fluctuating structure. Here, time stops behaving like a seamless flow and becomes fragmented and unstable. This theory says this: time itself may have a lower bound, and below that bound, the very concept of time loses its meaning. Perhaps Planck time reminds us of this. Time is not as continuous as we think. In the deep structure of the universe, it may exist in a far more fundamental, discrete, and mysterious form. Theory 92. Cosmological time. According to this theory, time is defined together with the universe itself. Cosmological time is not based on individual experiences, but on the overall structure of the universe. In this understanding, time begins with the Big Bang. As the universe expands, time is measured through this expansion. The recession of galaxies and the cosmic background radiation reveal the universal rhythm of time. Cosmological time is not felt in exactly the same way by every observer. However, on the largest scales of the universe, it provides a shared frame of reference. In this sense, it is like the universe's own clock. In this theory, time is independent of human perception. It is used to understand the age of the universe, its evolution, and its possible futures. It is not about how time feels, but about how the cosmos itself changes and grows. This theory says this: time is not only a personal experience, it is a cosmic process that flows together with the birth and development of the universe. Perhaps cosmological time reminds us that we exist within a timescale far greater than a human lifetime. and that our lives are small moments within a much larger cosmic history. Theory 93, the beginning of time with the Big Bang. According to this theory, time began together with the universe. Before the Big Bang, there is no meaningful before, because time itself did not yet exist. In this view, time is a part of the universe. As space expands, time emerges along with it. That is why asking about before the Big Bang is like asking what is north of the North Pole. The question itself loses meaning. In the first moments of the universe, matter, energy, space, and time are part of a single unified whole. As the universe cools and structures form, time begins to take on a meaningful and measurable flow. This theory says this: time is not an independent and eternal reality. It is a cosmic dimension that exists together with the birth of the universe. Perhaps the idea that time has a beginning shows most clearly that time is not absolute, but dependent on the conditions and history of the universe itself. Theory 94, timelessness before the universe. According to this theory, before the universe existed, time also did not exist. Time is a condition that emerges together with the universe. In this understanding, the phrase before the universe does not describe a real temporal sequence, because to speak of sequence, time itself must already exist. The state before the universe is therefore thought of as timeless. Some cosmological and philosophical approaches describe this state as pure potential, or an undefined reality. There is no beginning, no waiting, and no passage of moments. In this theory, time only gains meaning once the universe comes into being. When change begins, time begins with it. This theory says this: time is not independent of the universe. If there is no universe, there is no time. Perhaps the idea of timelessness before the universe reminds us in the deepest way that time is not absolute, but a phenomenon that depends on conditions and existence itself. Theory 95, the problem of measuring time. According to this theory, what we measure is not time itself, but change. Clocks do not capture time. They only count regularly repeating motions. The swing of a pendulum, the vibration of atoms, and the rotation of planets point to time, but they do not explain what time is. In this understanding, time cannot be observed directly. It is understood only through its effects. If nothing changes, then saying that time has passed also becomes meaningless. Moreover, at different speeds and in different gravitational fields, time is measured differently. This shows that a universal and absolute measurement of time is deeply problematic. This theory says this: measuring time is not measuring the essence of time, it is only counting change. Perhaps the greatest mystery of time is that even though we measure it constantly, we still cannot fully define what it truly is. Theory 96, the perception of time by consciousness. According to this theory, time is not experienced as it is. It is perceived and interpreted by consciousness. The same duration can feel different at different moments. Sometimes a minute passes in the blink of an eye, and sometimes it feels like it never ends. People think that time speeds up when they are happy and slows down when they are in pain or waiting. The clock does not change. The calendar moves forward in the same way, but the experience changes completely. This difference shows that time has not only a physical dimension, but also a psychological one. In this understanding, consciousness builds time step by step, by remembering the past, living the present, and anticipating the future. Thanks to the sense of continuity in consciousness, time stops being a series of broken moments and gains meaning as a flow. From a neuroscientific point of view, the perception of time is closely connected to processes in the brain. Memory, attention, expectation, and emotions determine the speed, intensity, and depth of time. In moments of fear, seconds stretch out. In familiar moments, hours become shorter. This shows that the experience of time is shaped by the way the brain works. This theory says this: time is not only a dimension flowing in the outside world, it is also a subjective experience shaped within consciousness and varying from person to person. Perhaps when we say that time passes quickly or slowly, we are describing not time itself, but the state of our own consciousness. Theory 97. The brain's construction of time. According to this theory, time is not a reality that already exists in the brain. The brain actively constructs the sense of time by linking successive experiences. In other words, time is not data taken directly from the outside world, but the result of a mental organization. The nervous system puts events in order. The before-after relation is established by neural processes. Thanks to this ordering, a sense of connection forms between yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Otherwise, experiences would be perceived as disconnected and scattered moments. In this view, now is not a single point. The brain perceives a very short time window as one whole. Without this short window, time would feel fragmented and discontinuous. The feeling of continuity comes from the brain's ability to merge moments. Memory creates the past. Expectation builds the future. The brain, by building a temporal bridge between these two ends, gives a person a sense of flow. What is actually lived is not pure time, but a time order constructed by the brain. This theory says this: the sense of time is not data taken directly from the universe. It is an experience actively produced by the brain. Perhaps the reason we feel time flowing is not so much reality itself, but the natural result of how our brain works. Theory 98. The mathematical model of time. According to this theory, time is less something that is lived, and more something that is defined. It is felt in human experience, but in scientific models it is treated as a variable. In mathematics, time is a symbol. In equations, it is usually shown by the letter T. It does not flow. It does not feel. It does not wait. It is only calculated and placed into formulas. In this view, time is not the events themselves, but an abstract measure that establishes the relation between events. If there is change, time can be defined. If there is no change, time also becomes meaningless. In physical models, time is considered together with space. It becomes a coordinate. It becomes a dimension. It expresses the passage from one point to another in numerical terms. And this usage now has no special privilege. Every moment has an equal place within the equation. In this understanding, past and future stand within the same structure in mathematical terms. Time is independent of human experience and neutral. This theory whispers this: feeling time is something human, but time itself, in mathematics, exists as a silent, impartial, and emotionless structure. Theory 99. Universes where time might not exist. According to this theory, time may not be a necessary feature of the universe. In some models of universes, time never begins, does not flow, and does not progress. It appears only as a condition specific to our own universe. In this view, time is born together with matter and energy. If there is no change, if events are not ordered, if cause and effect cannot be established, then time does not form either. Time is like a byproduct of change. In timeless universes, there is no before and after. Everything either exists at the same time, or does not exist at the same time. Movement, waiting, and duration lose their meaning. Experience as we know it becomes impossible. Some cosmological approaches suggest that universes may have different physical laws. In some of these universes, time cannot be defined at all. In others, it appears only locally and then disappears. According to this theory, time is not a universal and necessary reality. It is a feature that emerges temporarily under certain conditions. This thought implies this: universes without time are not empty. They are just completely different from the form of experience we are used to. And perhaps time is not the fundamental language of the universe, but a temporary translation we use to understand it. Theory 100. Is time an illusion? According to this theory, time may not be something that exists independently in the outside world. Perhaps time appears not in the universe itself, but in the consciousness that perceives it. Events happen, changes occur, but the division into past, present, and future is an order constructed by the mind. The universe may exist as a single whole. We, however, experience only a narrow slice of this whole and call that slice now. The feeling that time is flowing is closely related to memory. What we remember gives us the past. Our expectations create the future. The thin line between these two is perceived as the present. If there were no memory, there would be no time. Everything would be lived like a single, continuous moment. Beginnings and endings would lose their meaning. The sense of flow would disappear. Some philosophical and physical approaches say that time is not a fundamental structure, but a derived concept, a tool invented to measure change, a language we use to arrange events. According to this theory, time is not the habit of the universe, but the habit of the human mind. Reality may be timeless. We only understand it by dividing it into time. And perhaps time being an illusion does not mean it is unimportant. On the contrary, time is the way consciousness holds on to the world. It may be an illusion, but it is still the only way we live. Some questions are not meant to be solved. They only echo in the mind. Tonight, we listened to those echoes. Good night. See you in the next theory. This is Sleepy Theories.